Right, welcome back to Daybreak, where the discussions continue on and off air, and we're looking at the way forward in terms of the politics of the country, specifically the Jubilee Party, where there seems to be some discontent from members there, and we wanted Honourable Alice Wahome just to give us her thoughts, even as we wrap up the conversation. Go ahead.
Okay, I hope I will not get another. I think I will not get another opportunity. Let me just say that first, I think where you were asking whether we are going toward the right direction. Are we okay as a country? I think a country is, the governance of a country is as good as the political party that is managing, that is actually governing that country. This particular period, we have Jubilee that is governing. And if Jubilee has no structures, or the structures are not being utilized to resolve issues of whether political, whether party matters, whether government proposals that it requires the members of parliament to support. Because also the government is actually supposed to lobby the members of parliament and convince them about the agenda that the government has so that we can adopt and accept that agenda. And you know, everything we do there is actually supporting the government as we are looking at how that impacts and helps and makes a difference to the lives of Kenyans. Right now, you know, you remember there was a coffee task force that Nyukabi actually has put in a lot of effort on it. That task force was established by the president in 2014. How can a task force established by the president to date not have finalized its work? And even if it has finalized, how come then the ministry is, it's like they are doing, shortchanging each other with the task force. The ministry is not picking up the report and bringing the regulations to the House so that we can actually give them the policies, adopt the policies through the regulation. And I think then that's how we are losing it. We have several other horticultural crops regulations that are pending on the desk of the Ministry of Agriculture.
I think the president
those ones.
might be saying that if you come to me to talk about those issues, I will listen, but on other issues I won't.
On our desk as the delegated legislation committee, we have no backlog. And it's like us, we are calling the ministries, the departments, bring the regulations, and within 2-3 weeks, we are done with and we return them to them for them to utilize. Let me talk about this issue of, because this is the hottest issue. How should we just keep quiet? Should we respond? Responding to the president doesn't in any way mean disrespect. It is expressing our view and concerns of the people. Go to the social media. Since yesterday, is it yesterday or day before yesterday? It will tell you how the people are reacting. And if the elected leaders who are their voices, because their voices cannot reach on this desk, we need to say that they are not happy with those kind of remarks. And there is a way that those remarks can, we can be told that we have lost direction and come back to table. But, it is not possible that people who are in a party cannot have a meeting, discuss the challenges the party is facing, discuss how the president wants to take the country forward, including his party. And therefore, that is not happening.
He says he's not going to listen to what you're saying on TV,
calls us crash,
social media as
it's
well.
Okay. But you know what? He's actually listening, because even he said he will not read those Facebook. Definitely, he has people who read on his behalf. And they must tell him, because social media, you can't anymore ignore social media, because it tells you how the country is breathing, is feeling, where is the heart and soul of the country. And because he is the head of government, he's the head of state, he's the party leader for Jubilee. When we say things need to be sorted, then obviously as members of parliament, that's the best we can do. Because, if we now decide to obviously, when you say we'll be crushed, we shall be hounded, we are that. We are thugs. What are you telling the people who elected us? The whole of Mount Kenya region are that. I don't know. You can interpret that in any manner. Okay. And because the words have already gone out.
These are figures of speech.
And, let us not sugarcoat this thing. If we are not going to tell the president how we feel, if we are going to be told, go this way, who will suffer? Every executive have capacity to be a dictator. The government is supposed to be put on its toes. The minority people, these are Chinawanga, are not doing their job because they say they are supporting the the handshake, because within the handshake they had hoped there would be a coalition government. Then after coalition government, they will form the main government, they will become the government. From there on, they come to BBI. From BBI, then we bring referendum, including midstream, so that then they can do the campaigns and take over the government. And I think maybe there is even no problem with that. But call the people, tell them this is what BBI means. True, there was a motion. A motion does not become a legal framework to support BBI. BBI is drawing money illegally from the taxpayer. But finally...
Those are very strong
no, it is true. It is true, Wahiga, because
of what? There's no legal framework?
There is no legal framework. You can't just use money, and it's not legal money, without supporting it with a legal framework.
What's your final point,
So my
please?
final thought is, all is not lost, because we have another 3 years. But we cannot be told to stop doing politics, because the president actually he's not running.
At the cost of the development of this nation?
No, there is no cost of development. A member of parliament doesn't implement. A member of parliament doesn't implement projects. So I don't know, when we talk about we need to do development, what are we supposed to do? We don't have money. The NGCDF belongs to the committee, the National Government Constituency Committee, and it's only 100 million. And that 100 million cannot do a single road. So the biggest pass is actually with the executive, and majority of some of those people there are also stealing and raiding the coffer, and and I think the discussion that we rein in on corruption is a healthy discussion, but don't make it a political tool against one person.
Honorable Wanga, your closing remarks?
So what I'd like to say, first of all, because of the allegations that Honorable Alice has made around us having come into the BBI thinking there was going to be a coalition government, and then that we are going to take over government, and so on and so forth. I think we come into, and I can speak for my party leader, Right Honorable Raila Odinga, that he came as a statesman, and Uhuru came as a statesman, so that they could shake hands after a very, very bitter political battle, and so that the country can move forward together. But where I disagree with Honorable Alice is in saying that we cannot be told by the President to stop 2022 politics, and we heed. I think we should heed that call to stop 2022 politics, so that as we sit in Parliament, because she says we are not doing our work, but if you know the current, and Alice is a senior lawyer and knows that our current constitution is such that Parliament in its entirety checks the executive. So any member of Parliament, whether you are on the ruling coalition or any other, and that's why we have parliamentary committees whose job is to oversight the executive. So we continue our work to oversight the executive. This is why regulations come to the Delegated Legislation Committee, and this does not necessarily mean we oppose everything that the government says. It means that we look at laws, we see, is this really right? No, it's not. This and that. We look at the budget. Is this the way the money is supposed to be spent? No, we move it around. And that is oversighting the executive, in the sense that we check what the executive is doing. And that is the job of all of us as members of Parliament, not necessarily just for NASA. So what I want to say in closing, the President has a very simple request. Please, let's keep the unity of this country, because that is one of my biggest legacy that I want to leave. That any Kenyan can live anywhere, from Lamu all the way to Nyatike Wotorumo, in Migori County. And that we want to support the President on. Secondly, let us stop 2022 politics. It is not too hard. It's just to say, can we work for now? Politics of this country has changed even 3 months to elections. When we put Kibaki as president, that political jargon was done in 3 months, and he was there. So you don't have to start campaigning in 2018 or 2017 all the way to 2022 for you to be president. You can start it 3 months, 6 months to elections, and you will still be president of this country. So if you're good enough, stop it. If you're the president's deputy, stop it. Listen to him. Let's move the country forward without politicking.
Honorable Nyokabi?
I think the only good thing is our freedoms have also come a long way, so that there is freedom of expression. I think that's a good thing. That's healthy for the country as well. I think the question is, but on what are we expressing ourselves? if we could express ourselves on some of these critical issues of national priority, I think that would be much better. And I personally really want to call for the regulations on coffee to be done as soon as possible, because once you clear the ones on coffee, you can then move to tea, you can move to dairy, you can move to horticulture. And that is the protection of farmers that we want to see.
Where is the hold up, if you don't mind me asking?
I think there's
she started the conversation.
Sure.
Maybe you can shed some light on that.
Sure, and we've spent a lot of time with delegated committee, the delegated legislation committee. I think there's a problem between the minister, because the minister must send the regulations to Parliament for Parliament to be able to consider it. And the committee has routinely asked the minister to do that. So the Minister for Agriculture, this call is on him.
I suspect the minister there's political pressure for him not to bring the regulations to Parliament. You know, we should speak the truth.
He's not here to confirm.
You know, you have to consult.
Okay.
But you see, the cartels are the owners of the coffee, not the farmers.
But
so
looking at how farmers are struggling and a lot of the solutions that are in those regulations, I think the right thing is for let the debate come to the Parliament. Even if the market has
Parliament can call for those regulations.
Yes, it has done that already. They have done that severally and repeatedly. So because the coffee ones,
and officially we haven't looked at the regulations. We just engaged the task
consultations,
force, the task force, and the task force was supposed to work for then the ministry, so that then they had over that report,
which they have done
to the ministry. They have done
that,
that, but that's like since last year the ministry has taken too long.
And even the sort of issues that were sticking out on the marketing and on the trading and on the licenses, those have also been resolved. The counties are going to have a role around the licensing, and the reason why these coffee ones are very important is because a lot of work has gone into that coffee sector. When you finish that, then you can move to tea, you can move to milk, you can move to horticulture as well. The other one is I want to celebrate the head teacher in Udaya Girls. There's a good story here of the principal of the year, Udaya Girls. My sisters actually went to Udaya Girls. It's a very big school in our Udaya constituency. So celebrating that the head teacher there is the principal of the year, and hoping that we also see more of this. You know, I was just looking at the statistics on women in education. I mean, the principals in our schools are not even at the 2/3 level that is required by the constitution. So asking that more and more women are given positions of leadership. I mean, if the Minister of Agriculture was to come from among this table, you could see, a bit of progress moving on. So asking that more and more women are given opportunities to lead and opportunities to serve the country, and congratulating.
Of course, we are not saying the minister is not capable. We are just saying, it's not more women.
Let's have more women. Let's have more women.
I still think the Honorable Mangi Kinjori is doing a good job. I have been a witness to see him being bashed in public meetings, not once or twice, because this culture started with the executive and the cabinet members themselves, and then it has come all over to the Parliament. I hope this habit is going to come to an end, and then we can be able to deal with issues as a government and even as a party amicably within ourselves. I just wanted to mention something to my sister, Honorable Gladys Wanga. ODM seems to be more briefed about handshake more than we are as Jubilee members, and for that reason I'll continue sending my appeal to the President, who we love most, and also the party leader, to call for a parliamentary group and for once accept to disclose what handshake is about, so that we clear and finish once and for all the misconceptions about it. Number 2, we do not politic about 2022. We only respond to our critics and opponents who have a habit of bashing at us every now, time and then. My association with the Deputy President, Association of the Members of Parliament in Mount Kenya with the Deputy President, is only because the President said, "Hii ni muti yangu ya mkono." And because the President is too busy even to call us for a parliamentary group, we always tend to go to the muti ya mkono, and the muti ya mkono, we have been going around talking and preaching peace and preaching the Big Four agenda. And currently look at the people who have continued talking about this dialogue and conversation which is going on around the handshake. They are not talking about Big Four agenda. We have the people who are talking about the Big Four agenda. So I'll say what is good for the goose is good for the duck. If Raila and his team will stop talking about succession politics and demonstrate the true patriotism and statesmanship as a father figure in this country, we will heed to the call, and we are behind the President as Mount Kenya region, and let him receive the greetings of the people of Laikipia, and he's free to come and address us. But we do not want to be, I'm struggling with the right word, but we don't want to look like we are high-headed. We don't want to look like we are critiquing him. We want just him to understand, like the Honorable Nyokabi said, that we have the right of and freedom of expression, and we want him to feel the way our people feel. My people of Laikipia, particularly the Kikuyus who are in Laikipia West, they are being killed every single day. Last week I had 3 women who are raped who are still at Didika Health Center. The policemen are arresting women who are demonstrating, asking for their right to security in this country. But they are being arrested, they are being harassed, they are being intimidated. And we keep wondering, we voted for this government long before we had the people's president swearing in himself. But now it's our turn to look like orphans, and the government does not really care about us. And all we are asking is, please, put our piece of cake on the table.
Must the president support your region for you to get development? Where is devolution in all this? Where is
my
governor, because the president cannot be everywhere.
Yes, he will not be everywhere, but his word is enough.
But and I'll challenge. So do you want him to speak for the
my governor does not have the
I want to challenge her because the narrative that she started is unless the president physically
no.
But connect that the executive.
Can I have a right of reply? Can I have a right of reply? Let me say that. One, my governor and Mureithi and the county government of Laikipia, we do not receive any funding as far as security is concerned. That is sorry in the Ministry of Interior. And what we keep saying is, we cannot have people all across the region and across the neighboring county enjoying the use of National Police Service or the NPRs, and Laikipians do not enjoy. And you continue being killed and calling on a government which at most will take to ignore to our cause. So me, what I'm saying is, we do not, the president is free to come to Laikipia, and I'll continue calling on him and the Minister of Interior, friend Matiang'i, to come address the issues of insecurity in Laikipia as a matter of national concern.
Okay, briefly a response from each of you. We'll start with you. Let's go this way. Go ahead.
I just wanted to underscore the fact that the handshake does create a platform for resolution of some of the long-standing issues that the country has had. And the handshake is not to be opposed. It creates, if you look at the 9 points that are the basis of that handshake, they are the issues we're talking about. Is corruption, is security, is food, is shared prosperity. I think that the handshake is a good thing. We need to use that platform to resolve some of the issues that have been pending for a long time, even as we prepare for the 2022 elections.
Okay, Honorable Wahome.
And that's what I just wanted to reiterate that, but now that Nyokabi has explained it very well, let's not be suspicious of the handshake. It's just what it is. Yeah, let's just embrace
How do you respond to those comments?
Secondly, let me say this. Which comment?
How do you respond to those comments that the handshake is what has separated the Jubilee Party, the DP, and the president? How do you respond to those comments?
It ought not to, because the handshake has accommodation for everyone. You remember when we went to the prayer breakfast last year, and after the handshake between Raila and the DP was called onto the stage together with Kalonzo, and they all hugged each other. Because I think what is creating the division is this suspicion that the handshake might be having something more. But if you support peace, and even the DP, I hear him speaking about peace and cohesion, and even at the Akorino conference, that was his message, let's have peace and cohesion, and so on. And I think if all of us would fall into that line, there is no need for something as noble to separate anybody. But let me also say, let us be honest and open about all the issues that we face, because 2 weeks ago or so, 2 or 3 weeks, I don't know how long that was, I saw in the newspapers or in the media that the whole team of the pastoralist counties, I don't know whether it was, but I also saw Honorable Cate Waruguru there at the Ministry of Interior, you know, resolving or discussing some of these issues that they were facing in terms of insecurity. So to speak about them as if nothing is being done is to be hypocritical about it. So I think where there are solutions being found, or where there are discussions being held, we should acknowledge that this and this is happening. We are trying to resolve this with the Ministry of Interior. We have had meetings and so on, but we still haven't gotten there yet. We need to do more. Rather than just say, this needs to be done, the President needs to address this, as if nothing is happening. So I think we also need to be honest on that front.
Okay.
I think very quickly, when we talk about choosing a deputy president under the Constitution, you have the choice of choosing a technocrat or choosing a political, person,
a politician,
or a politician. And in this particular case, the choice of the deputy president, William Ruto, is because obviously he had a political clout, he had a political vote that he appealed to and supported His Excellency the President. Up to date, his loyalty, in my observation, still, is very well expressed, and he keeps on saying he's working for the president, and he's the principal assistant. And I hear Wanga now also trying to, you know, these are the things that are annoying the Jubilee people. It is not possible that people like Wanga can be the ones lecturing us on how to behave, on how the deputy president should actually behave, because they do not know about this relationship. And if us, we are also maybe trying to find out what has happened, then there is no way they should be the ones knowing better. But the point is this: you cannot wish away a deputy president who you know because they can actually support you politically. Finally, when the president makes the kind of remarks, and indeed I'm not responding, or, you know, and I think the Kenyans need to understand where we are coming from. As a country, if the region is looked at as useless, the region is seen as the ones troubling the president. What does that mean? And this is the region that brought the biggest vote in their basket, you know, for the president. And these same sentiments, if they are carried by the executive, they permeate to the rest of the executive. And, you know, because then, therefore, even if I walk to an office now, and, you know, with all these terminologies and descriptions, obviously, the Minister for Internal Security might be very quick to arrest me. Because after all...
Well, on what charges?
I mean, do they need charges? They develop charges.
As a lawyer,
there
should be a charge.
What I'm trying to say is that there are very many things, like Wanda has said, that you do even with the executive, with the ministries, with the departments. Like I may want your cabinet to come for a platform in my constituency. And you feel that you might not get we are now compromised and will be treated with some suspicion. We do not have the same platform, because basically we have been described as people who are, you know, harassing or, you know, giving the sleepless nights maybe to the president. I don't understand. And I can tell you, you know, people working for the government, Wahika, you know how to access service in this country has been a problem. If they develop this attitude that members of parliament who are representatives of the people are useless, they are nothing, even a chief will behave very badly, and that will be, you know, visited on the people we represent. And that's the concern. We cannot return dictatorship in this country. We cannot behave like we are in a single party democracy. We are in a multi-party democracy that encourages even speaking, expressing ourselves, coming to the media, and asking like the questions you are asking us, some of which, you know, will put us at cross purpose with our opponents and with the same executive we are talking about.
Speaking of dictatorship, rather, in that same...
The claim that she's made.
Yes, in that same charge that President Uhuru Kenyatta gave his rant on Sunday, Governor Sonko of Nairobi said that perhaps we will go for a referendum. If we do go for a referendum, we should extend President Uhuru Kenyatta's term. What do you make of that?
I personally, I do not support any idea, any person who thinks we should take this country towards the Rwandan direction and Uganda direction, because nobody has a monopoly of leadership. Clearly, I think the president, I don't think he's interested. Those are Sonko's ideas. The president has severally said that he's not interested in 2022. And therefore, in my own view, as a country, we should not accept to go back to that. And because that means, in fact, it's like we are headed to one party again. And you know the challenges of one party. So for me, a referendum can come, but imagining that we can open up so that we can create more time for His Excellency the President, I think Sonko might have been speaking for some other people, or just his own idea and opinion, and it is okay, but I don't think the country should be encouraged or should go that direction.
Should go that direction?
It should not go that direction.
Okay.
You don't know who will come tomorrow. We may have a maybe Uhuru is you know, I don't think, we have seen excesses. Uhuru doesn't have excesses. You know, there are excesses that have been seen in countries, people wanting to rule forever for life.
So your worry is if you change the law for a person that you, for the current situation, you don't know what the future,
you don't know what the future holds.
Will look like. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Let's take a look at your feedback now. These are some of your thoughts on this discussion today. 2242 is the SMS line, and of course some of you are tweeting as well using the hashtag Daybreak. Let's put those up on the screen, Cloud, please. Okay. William Baraza from Bungoma, whether you agree with this or not, huge wages and a lot of allowances of money for the political and government offices is the main obstacle in the making up of the big four agenda in the country, where this has opened the way for a scramble in corruption for many people in daily life. Okay.
All right, Jerry, you're watching from Ronga. You say these MPs who decide to campaign instead of focusing on development can kiss their seats goodbye come 2022.
All right, 6 more SMSs. Mwangi says MP should be honest. The DP is going around checking on government projects in his agenda. The central MP should go around their regions doing development and not following the DP. My take, if the central and other MPs keep following the DP, then president is 90% right. It's not about the handshake, but the time they spend loitering around and asking for more pay and allowances. Okay, Mwangi.
Okay, still on SMS. Gashoya, you say politics is politics, whether it is from the president's camp or the DP's camp. When the Kileweke team swear that Dr. Ruto will not be the president of Kenya, publicly block him, what do they expect Ruto and his camp to do? 2022 politics will cool down when guys from both camps calm down.
All right, Ronald from Eldama Ravine says, kindly ask the panelists, what's killing Jubilee? Is it the anger of His Excellency, the President, or the ambition of His Excellency, the Deputy President?
Oh, good question. Okay. Good question.
Right,
Eric, you say on SMS 22422, what does the President want the MPs to do in regard to his legacy? They have done all that is expected of them in terms of bills, including the controversial tax bill. The President is desperate for nothing.
All right, Reverend John Gishuru from Mongate Rongai. The people of Central Province have no political or spiritual deity like Nyanza Province. I'm not sure. Okay, that's his opinion. The early bird catches the worm. Let the DP tanga and bring for the chicks to eat. Okay.
Okay, let's take a look at Devin. Devin, you say, as Kenyans, we need essential leaders like our president. What our president needs is support, and leaders need to stop 2022 politics and support the handshake, which is a good thing.
All right, we have some tweets. Of course, this discussion having gotten a lot of feedback. At 4F Okango, MP should understand that handshake is a personal project between two people. Therefore, its outcome is not enforceable as a public cause. Let the MPs work. It's their service to the electorates, not their party leaders.
Okay, Wahome, you say, Alice and Cate, your goose is cooked. Stop beating around the bush. The Kikuyu nation will not caution because of your selfish interests. Be cautioned, rather, auctioned because of your selfish interests.
D. Kipkoech 19, we have been taken through much drama during this time of office. NYS 1 and 2, cabinet reshuffle, dams, Galana Kulalu, Eurobonds, handshake, China tour, numerous strikes, and the list continues. Kipkoech goes on to say that, what's on the next page? Oh, okay, that was the end of... Okay, I thought there was a question there. Go ahead.
Hustler_013, you say, why is Wanga and team not criticizing when his ODM were asking Uhuru to name Raila as his successor in that burial in Nyanza?
So Hio Siasa is the question being asked at the end of that message. I think this is the last one. Byron J says, the president and party leader simply says, stop campaigning and get to work. Is that too much to ask? Those are some of your thoughts. Thank you for weighing in on this discussion, even as we wrap up. Thank you to each of our guests for joining us today and for giving each other a chance to speak. Thank you as well. And to everyone who's watched the program, asante sana. We're not over yet because on the other side of the break,
we still have a lot more for you. So stay with Citizen TV.
Stay with us.